Okay, now it's time to cut out Rudolph, and I changed my blade, and Rich wants to talk, so we'll leave him in there. He'll be famous. Anyway, we're going to cut the inside of the antlers first. He thinks we're talking to him. He doesn't have antlers, though. I changed my blade, but I'm still using the 2/0. He thinks we should use the 3. So, what can I say? He doesn't have thumbs. So we're going to start with the inside cuts first. Now these are very small cuts. We're going to do the corners from both sides, like I show in all my classes on lumberjacks.com. So you can go check out my classes and learn how to cut tight corners. Because this is it. We're doing it. And with antlers, they're good to start on because you don't have to be really accurate, I guess. If you go off the line a little bit, who's to say that the antler isn't supposed to look that way? Set my blower. You go to the corner from one side. And the other. There it goes. And there. Now Rudolph only has 2 inside cuts. We'll finish him up, and we have to decide where we want to start cutting on him. I think I'll start coming in from this side into this corner. A lot of times I'll start doing the antler part first, because then if I break them, I don't have to cut through the whole piece and throw it out. But let's say I feel confident right now that I won't break it off. So there's a challenge. Also, like I say in my class, I want to start in a point. I don't want to start on a rounded outside edge, because you'll see where the blade heats up. And just like with the letters, we're going to go slow. It'll probably seem quite easy to cut the reindeer after cutting the letters. But it's still a small blade, and it's gone through a couple layers. As I said, these would be really good to cut stack cut 3 or 4 at a time. Now see, we get into that corner, and I come from the opposite side, and then I turn my blade in the waist area, lean it onto the edge, and continue on. A piece of wood is caught underneath, and then, there we go. I could feel it was pulling. There's another hole in between his legs that I forgot to drill. So I'll do that after. It's no biggie. Like I that after cutting the letters, this is quite... Now comes the, I'd say tedious part, but it's not really that hard. And when I made all the antlers, I made them with rounded edges, so we don't have to worry about the corners being too sharp, and the blade can turn completely around in them, like it's doing. Because I do think when I design, I try to make it easy. I try to make it look hard, but actually be pretty easy. My blower's off a little bit. There we go. Rounding these little corners too makes them a little bit stronger than if they were sharp. You do tend to overcut a little bit sometimes when you get in these tight corners. So by pivoting on this blade, you're leaving just a little bit more material in there, and it gives it just a bit more strength. But most of these will be glued on the backboards anyway, so once you get them sanded and all, you're home free. Meet up in the middle. And we gotta be careful. The problem is, when I pull this apart, we're gonna lose, they're gonna come apart, so I'll have to redraw it on my bottom piece, but it's okay. So now they come out, and you have your two layers, and obviously it's stuck somewhere from the glue. So we're going to show you how to unstick it. I'm back. One of the things that we came across when cutting our reindeer was that they stuck together because I got some of the glue on the pattern area. And stuff like the reindeer that's so fragile, we don't want to pull apart. Like, we could see that it's coming apart, but I don't want to really force it. So 10 seconds in the microwave will heat the glue up enough to loosen it, and it'll come apart easy. So we have to think of the Jeopardy music maybe, or something like that. I can't say it on the air. They'll take me off of YouTube, so think about it while we're waiting. And it's warm enough. You have to work quick, but it does peel off enough. You can use a little knife and then scrape off the excess. And it'll come off with sanding too. You can do this more than once if it's still on there, and you're good to go. Okay, the last part of cutting our ornament out is going to be to cut out the backboard. For that I used a size 3 blade in the mock blades from Olson. I like those a real lot. They're very sharp, and the thicker blade gives a little bit more stability when you're cutting a long edge like this. So the blade won't tend to follow the grain of the wood as much, especially on hardwoods. And as usual, I'm going to go in at this point here with the blade. Now you can tell it's a bigger blade, so it's going to go a little faster. so it takes less pressure even. The trick when you're cutting ovals and circles is to look ahead of the blade, and then your hand tends to follow. Like I watch about this far, maybe almost an inch ahead. I don't know how it works like that, but somehow it does. It's like if I concentrate too hard on it, it wavers. And there you have it, 2 copies. That was easy. On to finishing.